Oh. What did you do? What did you do?
Oh God, why is it? Oh, I
That's what I'm talking about. What is going on, everyone? Welcome, Goglings, Gogorifics, Gog peoples of the world. I hope everyone is doing well and is looking forward to more of Talisman Adventures. It is episode 345 of Pen and Pixels. I am your host, Arvin Eleron. This is the show that focuses on story and narrative in games, which we do every Tuesday afternoon. And it is time for some Talisman Adventures as we continue with the Shifty Lad and the Servant's Coin. Before we get any further, just a couple of reminders about ways to support the stream. If you have not done so already, please make sure to follow us here on GogCom's Twitch channel. Please subscribe to us here on GogCom's Twitch channel. That is always very much appreciated. And if you haven't done so already, please consider clicking through and checking out our own individual channels, because we have our own subsystems and Patreons and things like that, all of which are very much appreciated if you're able to support us in that regard as well. And today we've got more Talisman Adventures going on. Next Tuesday, we will, I believe, be doing some Ghosts of Saltmarsh again, if I'm not mistaken. And then the week after that, I will be playing something different, and I'll talk about that when we actually get there. But today it is some Talisman Adventures, and so I am going to unmute myself so the players know that we're ready to go. I am then going to, and I apologize in advance for having conceivably interrupted them. And then I'm going to unmute them. And last but certainly not least, I'm going to head over to reveal to you the crew of Talisman Adventures. They are prepared. They are ready. They're crossing a river and they're dealing with dolls. And that's the nature of this adventure, as we'll talk about in a moment. It is good to see all of you lovely folks, and welcome. And I will begin with the person right below me, and that is the honorable stream team leader and our master and commander. I think it's appropriate because I keep looking at this picture of crossing this raging river, so I keep thinking about, I'm just thinking about all the naval stuff with waves and all that kind of business. So yes, not playing waves today, but playing someone else. How are you, Pyron? How's life, and who are you playing today?
Hello, everybody. I made the mistakes of falling asleep right before the stream, and I'm still in the process of waking up. Apart from that, as you can hear, my voice is getting better and better and better. So, health, here I come. And so, yeah, everything's still a little bit exciting with both kids. Like, little one started first grade, the older one switched to the next school, so like what would be middle school, I think, for most of the world. So, yep, lots of things to do. And I'm going to play Regina Augusta III, and who's this bright warrior. It did not mess up things last time. She's like really, really proud of herself. And not 100% sure about what's going on. There seems to be a curse, and there seem to be dolls. There was a chest with a trap in, and well, but all overall, she's really really sure that she did fine.
That she'll manage things. Yes, I should say while we were doing this, the GOG alerts for some reason didn't fire. I don't know why. Maybe other people could, subscribe just so we can fire those things back. But Wolf Soul, thank you for the tier 147-month sub, DRM Free Adventures, and thank you to Saber for the 81-month sub. Stream brought to you by Raid Shadow Legends, and clearly that's definitely who we're brought by. No question about that. Not sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends, to be clear. So with all of that said, it is good to see Pyron, and I'm excited to have her back in the mix for Regina. Actually, I think we're getting 3 of you 3 weeks in a row, right? Because we had Ghosts of Saltmarsh last week, we have Talisman this week, we have Ghosts of Saltmarsh again next week. So it is 3 weeks of tabletop goodness, I believe. So that's very exciting. And moving on right down the line, we have someone who has got a cool, I don't think I've seen, maybe you used that background for Talisman and I just didn't remember, Saber, but that's really cool. Okay. I was used to you with the gears, but that's obviously for the other character not being played today. It's good to see you as always. Thank you for Move Out and Dashboard and all that stuff. How are you doing? I want everyone to know, by the way, that Saber has a deep understanding of bass. We learned that in the green room, so we know all about that bass. And how I wonder what chat thinks about the discussions we have. And let me tell you, they're fascinating. How are you doing today, Saber? How's life in the universe? And who are you playing in our campaign today?
I am very, very good. Thank you. Just quickly adjust the background. Yeah, this is the one I use for Talisman. This is actually, if I duck out of the way.
Oh, Graveyard Keeper. That's right. I remember that.
Keeper.
I remember that. Yes, I remember that.
It's a great game. Everyone should check that out. It's got a fantastic sense of humor. And you can feed people who are burning witches people burgers, which is always funny.
That game.
So yeah, but other than that, there's basically just been nothing but Skyrim since it came out on GOG. I've gotten back into that quite heavily. I was saying earlier on, I tweeted to the effect as well. I was like, I streamed it yesterday, got to a really good stopping point, then realized I can't use that save till the next time I stream the game. So I've had to make another save or another game so I can just play Skyrim casually when I feel like it.
What I need to know, what platforms? Is it just Android phones are the only platform left that it has not appeared on? Like, how many other platforms can we keep going? Can we bring back the PSP and have Skyrim be a special edition for the PSP?
Well, there was a mobile one called Elder Scrolls Blades, which wasn't strictly Skyrim, but was basically an attempt to do something along those lines. I mean, when you play it, it is basically repurposed Skyrim graphics.
Gotcha.
Things of that nature. So it's about as close to mobile Skyrim as we've got.
Yeah.
But who needs that?
Game
We've
Boy
got DRM free Skyrim.
That's true. That's true.
That is true. In fact, we will have some later tonight with Flayos, who may or may not be using my save from Sunday. I'm not sure. I sort of just shared one for testing some stuff, and he's like, "Oh, I'll use that save." I was like, "Okay, survival mode's on. Just warning you."
I saved it right as the hammer was on descending towards my head, just so you know.
But yeah, tonight I'll be stepping back into the shoes, pun intended, I guess, of Reginald Shun, who is a ghoul graveyard keeper druid, who is he spent a lot of the last session tasting things, but hopefully he's got that out of his system now.
Yes, it'll be interesting to see. That's true, actually. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that all gets played out in the course of this adventure. And yeah, I should say hi to everyone who just jumped in. Hello to Swan Diving Penguin, Imaginary Exponent, Shamgar, of course. And it's true, Rudnell, you can actually own Skyrim. You don't have to ask permission to play a game I bought. Just wait, though, because soon there will be more of, please buy my game. Have you bought Skyrim on, as we said,
Skyrim,
microwave?
brought to you by Raid Shadow Legends.
Skyrim on Texas Instruments Calculator, 1989. Okay. Anyway, but it is good to see you, Saber. Thank you as always. Looking forward to hearing what you get up to tonight, and also looking forward to hearing and seeing what one Mr. Peripheral Mike gets up to tonight. Mike, how you doing? How's life in the universe with you, and who are you playing in our beloved campaign this evening?
Life, the universe, and everything is quite well with me at the moment. I'm very busy, as it seems to be a running theme.
I know the feeling.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Suddenly it stopped being a heat wave, and then I'm suddenly really, really busy, and I'm not quite sure why. It's good, though. It keeps me out of trouble, mostly. And when I'm not keeping out of trouble, I'm playing tabletop with you miscreants, which is even better. Speaking of which, tonight I shall be stepping back into the I'd say shoes, but Lump doesn't wear shoes. Stepping back into the troll feet of Lump, our World Walker troll warrior, who has, I can't really remember what he did last time because it's been a while since we played this, but I have a feeling it had something to do with trying not to get freaked out by dolls and waiting for a safe word. And there's a lot of things. Oh, also, I wanted to just show off the new merch from my store that says "I'm a pacifist. Any trouble, I pacifist," and I can thank the art goes the art credits go directly to the creator of our Ghost of Saltmarsh caricatures as well. So I'm going to stick a link to that store in chat. Hannah lowered all of the prices, so I don't actually get any money from this. I just want t-shirts to be sold as like cheaply as possible, so if people want them they can get them. But I'll stick a link in chat as soon as I finish talking, which is about now.
Good stuff. Always a pleasure, Mike. I look forward to that. And yes, a lot of what Lump did was that, and or sort of in a fashion that only Lump could do, threaten the person who's going to be bringing you across the river for doing things in the right way and making sure that you do. This character Prish, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. And moving right along, last but certainly not least, we have someone who is now now I don't am I allowed to mention the new arrival, Bruce? Can I do that? Can I mention the new arrival or no?
Yes, you may.
Okay, so now the owner of 2 awesome dogs. I'm very excited about that. I note, by the way, for the record, that the last time we played, you had but 1 dog, and we had the doll episode incident. And now I note you have 2 dogs, and I'm just wondering if there isn't a little bit of, I just get more dogs to guard my person every time we play a session. So like if the next month you have 3 dogs, I think we'll have our answer. I'm just letting you know that is on the table somehow. How are you, Bruce? And who are you playing today?
Yes, I'm very well. As you said, I now have 2 dogs, which is like twice as good. It's also twice as difficult. Like I'm now one of those people who is like constantly doing this during walks as the dogs just kind of like walk around each other and attempt to tidy me to lampposts. There's probably lots of very amusing CCTV footage from outside the local co-op where they've got loads of these little bollards set up, and I'm always trying to walk past them with the dogs. And I don't know. I'm playing Chwedl, the Cragman, who is a dwarven minstrel from up in the crags. And he did not have a very fun session last time. He ended up being the one who went inside the creepy inn with the creepy wooden dolls. So I'm not saying that played into the need to get a second dog, but I'm also not saying that it didn't. So if there's more creepy dolls this session, I can't guarantee that I'm only going to have 2 dogs next time.
You realize this isn't helping your cause, right? Like you're just like, oh no, you might have another dog. That would be awful. It's not like if you show up and suddenly you're just like, what was the whole adventure like? Well, he was just dolls. He's just walking on dolls, and I don't know what happened. So just letting you know.
Thank you.
But it is always a pleasure to have Bruce with us. And let us talk about that, chat. Because indeed, it was kind of as it turned out to be more kind of an early Halloween themed than I had anticipated, I guess, with this. So I am excited to see what happens in our session today. We have someone who is now what was that? That was weird.
That was me. Apologies.
Oh, okay. I was like, why do I hear my own voice?
That was me. Apologies.
No, it's fine.
Audio hiccups every now and then just because of random things opening on my computer and the fact I have a new audio interface and I don't know how to work it. So apologies for that. I'm trying to mute everything when I'm trying to do stuff, but stuff may happen like that.
That's totally fine. It was one of those ones where I was just kind of like, I don't know why I
This is
just
what
heard
sparked
myself.
a great Shadow Legends conversation earlier, because I tried to open some funny music to Troll Saber on YouTube and just got inundated with ads.
Speaking of music to troll me, I still have Fillmore stuck in my head. Thanks, Arv.
Hey, listen, it's fine. Yeah, I was telling him that I'm going to be playing ActRaiser pretty soon when I get finished my Lost in Random, and that is one of my favorite level musics of all time, which is Fillmore. And yes, it is great. That plus Mode 7, Chad, I'll just say, if you haven't played, you should check it out. So let's talk about what happened in our last session. In our last session, the party had come to the not particularly large tavern at Innsview, which has for a long time been considered to be a place that was a place of refuge for people going between Leyrune and Villadoc. It was the destination for those seeking a good meal and a strong drink and a soft bed, and also a place where adventurers could swap tales of their adventures out in the wide world. A very classic sort of tavern. But what you discovered when you arrived there, the party discovered that the tavern at Innsview was now under new management and closed for renovations, effective immediately. And so what that meant was no breakfast would be supplied, no supplies available for purpose, and the only one who was remaining there outside was the stable boy, Unwin, who said that the new owner had told him that he could stay on, but that the two who previously owned it, Ura and Niles, who used to own the place, had actually left, and so the tavern was just there on its own. Well, the party, of course, was somewhat suspicious, being a party, and decided that they needed to figure out what was going on. And so, as has been previously mentioned, Huedel bravely volunteered, despite all attempts to keep him from coming through, to go right into the middle. This is not exactly how it went down, but anyway, went into the tavern to discover that the ovens were cold, the hearth fires were dead, there was the faint stench of old food lingering in the air, the smell of slowly rotting garbage, and also that there were these strange, intricate dolls that had been discovered, each of them complete with carved wooden clothing and accessories, but the dolls' eyes were closed as if they were sleeping. And the party ended up finding 3 of those dolls and ended up bringing them with them. They also found a coin, a strange coin, which they ended up bringing with them as well. And it became clear that the entire tavern was under some kind of curse, and they needed to lift this curse. And they found this out in part because of this person who has just popped onto Roll20. This person that you see, his name is Prish. And Prish, who calls himself Prish the Sailor, and the captain of the Blessed Storm Dancer, were friends with Niles and Nura, wanted to know why they were not there, and when the party explained, well, the reason they're not there is because we think they've been cursed, and what are we going to do, and blah, 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 blah. So it was the decision of the party and Prish that something had gone wrong, and this curse needed to be lifted. In fact, Lump was very definitive about the point, saying that bad things were happening, bad magic was being used, bad magic had to be removed, and essentially, if anyone tried to say that it shouldn't be removed, Lump was going to have a problem with them. In fact, Lump was not 100% trusting of Prish and made clear that he would rip, Prish into several pieces if Prish attempted to betray them and did not help them override the curse, to which Prish said, I understand where we are. And so Prish and Lump came to an understanding of imminent death if Prish did not do what was necessary. And so the party, with 3 dolls in tow and with Weddle holding the coin that they discovered, set off for the river, because the only place that this curse can presumably be lifted is at the temple. And for those who don't know or who have not played Talisman, first of all, you should go play Talisman. But secondly, you will see on the map here that there is a temple, and this temple is considered one of the most impressive religious structures of the time. It is a source of great knowledge, and it is a place where there are many people, acolytes and otherwise, working that can lift curses under certain circumstances. And so Prish suggested that they should cross the Storm River free of charge in his boat so that he could guide them to the temple to see if there is a way to break the curse. And after this agreement with Lump was come to, the party agreed to go across. The last thing is that Unwin, the stable boy, actually decided that he would accompany them across because there was nothing for him at the tavern, since the tavern is closed and locked and all that kind of stuff. So the party is going to head across here. And as we begin Act 2 of The Shifty Lad and the Servant's Coin, The Shifty Lad and the Curse of the Servant's Coin, I should say. As we begin Act 2, the party has just gotten pretty much to the Storm River, and it was a fairly easy walk, which only took about 3 hours. Any apprehension that you might have had, and I'm thinking of Lump here in particular, about attempting to cross the wild currents was gradually put at ease by Prish's confidence and swagger, and any further reservations were laid to rest at the sight of his ship. Now, those of you in chat will know that, jumping outside of this world for just a moment, that in the incredible series of films, the original Star Wars, in Star Wars A New Hope, when they first find the Millennium Falcon, they're like, what the hell is that? It's basically a heap of garbage. This is the opposite reaction, though. When you see this, you are impressed because it is not a mere raft or barge. The Blessed Storm Dancer is actually a sleek, single-masted sloop painted dark blue with swirls of silver forming waves along her bow. Not very large, but looking very well cared for and very slick. And as Prish sort of gets there and begins to bark orders to his crew, you can see that the crew is moving along in this very well-disciplined manner to get ready. And that's a good thing, because the Storm River looks quite rough. It has its name, it comes by its name honestly. Now, I have a question for the four of you. Have the four of you previously crossed the Storm River in either direction? Regina, have you ever crossed it, do you think, in your travels?
Nope.
Okay. Because you didn't want to, or just because it never happened?
I don't think I cared.
Okay, fair enough. Because you could just fly above it. I mean, what's the big deal?
No, it's like,
you know.
I mean, is there something better on that side of the river? No, because very apparently I'm on this side of the river. So
Very clearly. So you didn't have a problem with that. Reginald, did you ever have cause to cross the river?
No, not really. Mostly been tending the graveyard, apart from attending druid conventions in some of the woodlands, but Thronewood never really factored into them because that involved crossing the river.
I see. So I'm sensing a little bit of would prefer not to cross the river if one could avoid it type of thing.
We've got perfectly good woods over here. Why do we need to go there?
Lots of dead people to tend to on this side. Okay, fair enough. Lump, what about you? Did you ever make the effort to cross the river for any reason?
No, there's been plenty of work on this side of the river, so...
I'm sensing a pattern. Weddle, what about you? Have you ever had cause in your wanderings to cross the river?
No, sorry. I've mostly stuck to the eastern side of the realm, you know, because I came down from the crags, obviously, came down through Villadark, down the White Horse Hills, and that way down to the city, to have nice chats and research with the Dwarven scholars, you know, who've been debunking the terrible lies being spread by the lawkeepers.
Yes, and they are terrible lies. I mean, let's be clear about that. So none of you have crossed, and that's interesting because here, let me just put in, just looking for a little soundscape on, let's see, Raging River. Let's see.
Telltale Heights from Link's Awakening.
Storm it. What? Say that again.
Telltale Heights from Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening.
Ah, yes. Yes. Okay, there you go. I literally was putting in Raging River just for fun, but maybe I shouldn't do that. Okay. So let's go with this. And I need, let's see, how about let's throw some rain in there. Okay. We'll get rid of the longest rain. We'll put that up there. There we go. All right, let's make sure that we've got that looped. That's looped. That's looped. Wonderful. Okay, so you are all ready to go. So as you all get there, it is an impressive sight. The Storm River, of course, is so named not simply because of the conditions of crossing it with the waves, which are great and, of course, sort of moves to left and right, but it's also the wind, almost a preternaturally magical wind that seems to howl and be particularly designed to blow you off of your course. Ships that must brave this and ferries which must brave this typically go quite slowly and sort of are as large and as flat as possible to minimize the effect of the waves, but not the Blessed Storm Dancer. And when you get onto the ship, which, as I said, there isn't a whole lot of room to move around. Everyone's sort of cramped together in the seating area at the stern of the ship. And the endless storm that gives the river its name rages all around you. In fact, I am not pleased with that. This is not enough storm. I need more I need more storm here. Give me, let's see, storm. Can I get that? Let's see. Before the storm.
I'm imagining the storm because if I have it through my headphones, you may hear it twice.
Storm at sea. Here we go.
I'm imagining a storm conducted by Bugs Bunny right now.
There we go. Ha ha. That's what I'm talking about. All right. Now I think chat gets a sense of it. All right. We've got some storm at sea. Yeah, perfect. Okay. So, you are in the front of the ship, and the storm rages around you. Thick fog obscures your passage, and there is fierce wind which howls in your ears. Pelting rain assails your faces. Regina, there are several places where you basically have to just drive one of your javelins into like the wood of the deck and kind of hold on because, you're being blown with this sort of rush. And the ship does rock alarmingly, but it does, despite all of that, slice through the turbulent waters without difficulty. I mean, it's rocking, but it doesn't seem to be like as if it's going to tip over anytime soon. And Prish is standing at the front. You can see him right there. His epic mustache and sideburns, water-flecked, and looking off. And, this is the kind of stuff, isn't it? What do you to think? It's a pleasant night for a slight drizzle, isn't it? And you're just like... as he looks back at all the four of you. How are you managing?
I didn't think ghouls could feel sick.
Sick that this journey will be over. I understand, my friend, but you can come back with me any time you like. We could use someone like you. Occasionally one of my men falls overboard. But not today. All right, me hearties, let's go. And he points, and some of them move up, and they're, running up ropes, lowering ropes, sails up, sails down. And there is a moment where, as you're doing all of this, I'm curious what direction everyone is looking. Do any of the four of you, first of all, have your eyes closed? Any of the four of you or no? Okay.
No.
So, are any of the four of you, how many of you are looking, like, forward? I guess I'll just go quickly. Like, Regina, are you looking ahead of you, back of you, or, like, just sort of anywhere in general?
I'm looking in the direction the wind is coming from because I'm like a little wind vane on my spear, so...
Right.
So I'm always looking in the direction of the wind.
So you're like... It is, yes. It is currently... The direction is Sprite southeast. Okay, so you were doing that. Reginald, what about you? Are you looking forward, backward?
Looking forwards, definitely. It's like, are we there yet?
Okay. Lomp, what about you?
Yeah, forwards.
Okay. And Weddle, forward as well, or no?
No, Huadel is found something sturdy and sort of sitting against it, dead weighted himself, and is staring at the coin, trying to find signs that it's really dwarven made and it's no silly wizard man that made it. He's going to spend a lot of time trying to prove that it was dwarves what made this coin, to be honest.
I am going to ask you, at that point, I was going to bring this up before, but since the coin is being looked at as well, I am going to ask you, please, to make for me a craft test. I'm going to need you to make a craft test, please.
Just straight up craft.
Straight craft, yes.
Right. Slash roll 3d6 plus the old crafty man 5. 14.
Okay. So,
And I got a 1 to start is my first one. Does that mean you get a dark fate?
No, that would only be with the Kismet die, which would be the one that would come at the end. So, yeah, I do not get a dark fate. Okay. So, something, as this sort of happens, you notice, you're looking carefully at the coin. Yep. And then you feel very odd, and the sound of the people on the deck shouting, the deckhands shouting and Prish shouting orders, and your companions kind of holding on for dear life in various ways, all kind of comes together for you. And suddenly you find yourself, actually you don't find yourself anywhere, you are slumped back on the deck. Reginald, you notice that Weddle just lands back basically on his back and his eyes closed and is unconscious.
Do I see if Weddle was handling the coin?
I would think so,
Oh,
because it doesn't look
God.
like Weddle was trying to hide it.
Weddle was touching the coin.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Reginald
I
rushes
forgot
over.
a detail of how this coin works.
Reginald looks for like a cloth or something that he can use to scoop up the coin without directly touching it himself.
Okay.
I don't know if I find anything in a ship battered by a storm crossing a river while feeling a bit seasick, but we'll see.
I would imagine that you could find like a piece of cloth which allows you to kind of pick that up, and then are you just putting it in a pouch or something, or where are you putting it?
I think I will stash that away, yes, in my haversack for the time being.
In your lead-lined, conveniently placed... Okay.
Yeah,
right.
No, I have that.
Okay. So as you do that, Weddle, you find yourself like kind of coming to, and you sort of look up and your, faces being lashed by the rainy wind and all that. But there's something a little odd here, which is that as you look up and your companions are looking down at you, I assume Lump and Regina have been told now about this situation by Reginald.
Easily run over.
So
If anyone's come over, I've filled them in, yes.
So as Weddle, as you are sort of looking up, you notice, Lump and Regina, that Weddle has this very, let's call this a fixed expression. Kind of like, however you want, however you want your expression to be. And also, I'm not going to make you hold that expression for the entire session today, but you can get the image of
Hold
it.
that.
So just stay there for the next 2 hours.
That's right, screenshot.
Yeah, no, let's just clip. So there's that. Also, your clothes feel odd, Weddle, like it's sort of hard to move. I will tell you that it gives you a +1 bonus to your armor, so that's nice. You get a +1 bonus to armor. But also, your agility has been reduced by 2. You feel stiff, almost wooden.
God.
I use 2 of my spears like ski poles to pull myself along the deck to get there while I'm still like more or less horizontal in the air due to the storm.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what happened? Why is Quaddle like that?
I think Weddle was handling the coin. Remember the one that shouldn't be touched?
Oh no. Why?
Oh no.
I poke Weddle with one of with one of my spears. Poke. Carefully poke. Not I don't want to.
And Weddle's able to talk, just like little. So.
This is very weird, isn't it?
Oh, he's speaking in Dwarvish. Oh no.
It's alright, I can still sing, even if I can't get my curse out.
I think
Have I
you're
gone-
halfway to being a Kruth.
Oh yeah, that would be good. If I turn into one of them wooden dolls, right, and you can't turn me back, Lump, you gotta promise me you'll take me to one of the crafts people and have me turned into a Kruth, alright? You gotta promise me. You gotta promise me, my friend.
Don't know.
You know,
Regina, my friend, you gotta promise me.
you have to see the good side. You can if you turn into a wooden doll, you cannot drown anymore.
Not test.
Yeah, please don't
I am
test
not
that out.
testing that. Because the other problem is, you can float away.
At this point, Lumber's sort of tried to sit Weddle up, sort of like rest Weddle on one of his arms.
Okay.
You've got the starts of an interesting ventriloquist act.
As the party shares this lovely moment, suddenly a loud thud shudders through the timbers of the ship, and the ship rocks alarmingly from side to side, and not just in the normal way, but in the sort of way. I will need all of you, including the ventriloquist dummy, including Weddle, to test athletics, specifically athletics with agility, because you do not have a lot of room to maneuver on this small ship.
That's just going to be a straight 3d6 for me. Seven. 2,
7.
2, 3.
We will discuss that in just a moment.
Oh no.
Okay. All right. Weddle does that. Okay. Weddle feels very sturdy on his feet, very, very, definitive, like sure of the ground. Regina's like, oh, this is fine.
Excellent.
Oh, wow. So you were. So, okay.
Like fate.
Now, I'm actually going to give you, that is actually a great success, Lump. So I'm going to give you an opportunity here because Reginald pitches over the side of the boat, but I'm going to give you an opportunity because of your success, Lump, to try to grab him. So I'm going to have you make here and...
You're assuming I'm going to grab him.
if you want to, you could just let him go. I mean, that's
I also have doubles. Is mine a great success as well?
No, it's because of the fact that he's got that plus it on the Kismet die that I'm giving him that extra one, Regina. You've got, you do have doubles, that's true, and it is a success, but this is kind of an extra plus that I'm giving him because of that. It's unusual that he's getting a shot to maybe even theoretically catch him. Also, I'm not 100% sure, despite, of course, Regina's incredible strength and power, that Regina could actually catch a ghoul and keep them from falling off the side. Not 100% sure. I
don't weigh much.
I feel like you want to say. Do you want to say that Regina is small? Is this what you want to say?
I would never make that claim.
I mean, once I get Reginald back on the ship, I could throw him off the ship again, and you could
test it. Yes.
Yeah, let's do that.
Excellent stuff. Right. Okay. Good. I'm going to go reach for Reginald.
Okay. So for this one, I think we are looking at another. I think this is just an agility test, although trying to find my skill list. Okay. Actually, let's make this. I want this to be athletics. Yes, I will say this is athletics.
This is athletics.
Yes, this check that you're going to make is an athletics check. If you have a focus in now, if this it's athletics, but it's agility. If you have a focus in acrobatics, no. Okay.
I have a focus in climbing.
Well, unless you want to climb the mast and look down at Reginald as he slowly sinks to the bottom of the river,
and then catch him at the bottom.
Yeah. No, I think other than that, we're going to be just looking at a straight athletics agility test.
So that's going to be 3d6 plus aspect, correct?
That's right. Yes. I should pull up my handy dandy provided by a certain stream team leader of ours.
Excellent segues, almost like that was planned.
Exactly. Part of the mix.
It's all part of the illusion.
Yeah, you have a so actually, do you have the skill 3d6? Do you have a focus? No, actually, it's just 3d6. If you had a focus, no, I take that back. 3d6 plus aspect. I'm 100% wrong. Yes, 3d6 plus aspect. That's right. So let's see that.
18.
Wow, look at you. 6 plus 5 plus 5.
Ask me to rolls tonight. That's it. I'm done.
That is a great success. Okay, you grab Reginald just as Reginald is basically flying over the railing, and that's good because you hear at the same time from Prish, "River Crocs!" The captain shouts from his position at the helm as he points into the water. "Fend them off, or this is going to be a much shorter trip than we expected." A quick glance fails to reveal any signs of danger until a massive set of tooth-filled jaws breaks through the spray and narrowly misses crunching the bottom of your torso, Reginald, as Lump holds you above the water. A river croc lunges at the ship, and 2 more enormous shadows circle the vessel ominously. All right. So we have got 3 of these river crocs, which are assaulting the ship. And we're going to talk about how this works.
Which definitely puts paid to my backup plan, because I was like, oh, if I land in the water, I can give myself gills because animal features. But then it developed a bit more, and I'm like,
Yes, indeed. I think I actually have a picture of this, too, for you. I'm sure you'd love to be able to know exactly what you're facing.
Oh, yeah. That would be fantastic.
You know, just to really visualize the full...
But is it a kobold chasing butterflies, though? Nothing beats that in Talisman.
No, it is definitely not a kobold chasing butterflies. Can confirm. That is not the case.
I love how many people failed to beat him in our last game as well. He's got a strength of 1, and everyone kept tripping over rocks.
It's funny. Okay, I'm going to... This thing is not cooperating, so I'm going to snipping tool this. Thank you, snipping tool. The power of snipping tool compels you. Let's go with that. Okay. And we're going to save that as... We'll just call that croc. And I'm going to fire that up on the chat so that people can see what we're dealing with. And it looks a little bit like this. There we are. So just imagine that, and imagine that being basically a third the size of the boat, and now you'll have a sense of it. So yes, it is definitely killer crocs. Killer crocs. Okay, so here we go. We are going to put this up here now. As a reminder, chat, the way that combat works in this game is that the players. Thank you. Ed77. I don't think that's right. I have your name blocked. But thank you for following GOG. Us here on the DRM free community. Okay. Not that one. Bear with me just a second. There we go. That way I can actually see what I'm looking at when we get those things. Okay. Right. Okay. So, the way that this is going to work with combat is that the party is going to decide what order they would like to be able to go in. And then the combat handle is basically handled simultaneously. So as you're in the process of going through combat, the combat is handled simultaneously. So the first thing is to figure out the position of players and enemies. That's easy. There's 3 crocodiles, massive ones, circling the boat, while Prish is desperately trying to steer the boat away from them. So there's that. We're not going to talk about enemies being surprised. There's no surprise on either direction here. The 3 of you, Regina and Weddle and Lump, are on board, although Lump at the moment is holding Reginald, who is hanging off the railing there. And Reginald, as we talked about, is sort of flailing in the strong hand of Lump over the railing. So that's the position that we have. So with that said, who wants to go in what order for this round? Who wants to go first?
I would like to be pulled to safety, please.
I would like to roll my tactician feature first.
Okay.
Because I need to do that at the beginning of the combat.
That's right. Tell us what Tactician does again.
I get to roll 3 dice now, and I can then use these 3 dice result to replace a die I rolled during combat, but I can only use 1 die result once. So it's like replacement dice.
Got you. Yep, that's awesome.
Nice.
All right. That's that heavy reading you did, right? In that book?
Yes, it's the book.
Yeah, the book.
It's all in the book. So I got a 3, a 3, and a 4.
Okay.
Noted.
All right, now you've got those. So now with that said, who's going first, second, third, and fourth? And there will be some limits in what Reginald can do. I'm assuming Lump is going to be able to try to pull you back over or something, but you folks can let me know what order you want to do.
Well, I was definitely going to move Reginald back onto the boat. Where in how many feet, meters, inches are people away from me?
I would say that probably Hweddle and Regina are both pretty close to you, maybe within 10 feet or so. There's not a lot of room to move on this ship. And the other deckhands who are all kind of like rushing about doing things are within, another, I don't know, 15, 20 feet beyond that. Reginald is obviously being held by you, so is 0 feet away from you at the moment. But you're right near the water, and the croc just narrowly missed biting him.
Where's Unwin?
Unwin at the moment is huddled by the railing of the ship with his arms and hands over his head. You think he's whimpering.
That's fair. That's understandable.
Yeah.
Is there a below deck, or is this like a ship?
There is a below deck, but it's shallow. It's very shallow. It's like they basically just have the bare supplies necessary, rope and things like that.
That's fair. Okay, so on my go, whenever we go, I was going to cast or use the anvil to give Reginald and myself some armor points, but it only works on people who are within reach. So 10 feet away. My arms are long. They're not long.
Right. So Reginald's within reach.
Reginald's within reach. I'm physically holding him up.
Yes, totally.
Do that.
So you can do that. Okay.
Put Reginald on.
So that's what. So you're gonna. So basically, you're going to pull him back over and cast that. Is that the plan?
Yeah, that's my plan. So I don't mind when I go, because that's pretty much all I'll be able to do.
Okay. Regina, Hweddle, when do you want to go? And I'll ask. The only thing I would say is that Reginald probably has to go after you. Lump is the only thing probably seems logical, but otherwise you could order yourselves however you like.
I could go first, and I would try to score crocs. How many crocs did we have? 3?
3.
Well, look, I have choice of crocs, so I would like to, whatever crocs is closer to eating Reginald, I would like to skewer that with my spear if nobody has any objections to that.
Okay. Hweddle, what about you? And you're still, despite the current state of your facial features and so on, and your agility being lowered. Otherwise, you're able to move as normal. Besides those things.
Awesome. Hweddle will probably go to wherever Lump is. I'm not sure that he's got any other plan other than that. Are the crocs sort of within melee attacking range?
One of them is for sure. The one that almost bit Reginald.
All right. Well, he'll have his the old fencing Bobby out.
Okay.
Give it an old melee slash for sure.
All right. That'll be what we'll do on your turn. Go ahead, Lump.
You come towards me, and then I do my go. Then all 3 of us get armor.
Oh, the Crocs has arrived in chat, just so we know.
He's coming to get us.
That, people, is called manifesting.
You've been summoned, Crocs. That's funny. Okay, so then do we want, am I hearing like maybe Regina, Hweddle, Lump, Reginald? Or
Yeah, Regina, Hweddle, Lump. Regina, Hweddle, Lump, Reginald. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Regina, let's start with you. So you are going to try to skewer this thing.
Yes.
Okay.
Like with a melee attack. I don't want to lose my spear again, like so quickly. Maybe later.
Okay. So you are going to try to poke it, basically with it. Okay. All right. Okay, and I have 4 Dark Fate to start with. Okay. All right. And you can see the scales on this thing are pretty, look pretty beefy. Okay. So in that case, we will have you do your attack. So you're going to be making a melee attack.
Yes, that's what I'm going to do.
Okay.
Okay. Do I still have someone open from last time? No, I need to do it. Okay. Tactics! Okay. In this case, I'm gonna replace the 2 with my 4 to go up to 19 and double force.
Right, which means that you have got a great success.
Yes.
So that is good. That means that you are going to inflict full damage on your target, and your opponent will not get an action. So that means that this croc will not get an action. So that's the good news. Now you actually have to see how much damage is done in that process, and we'll talk about the impact of that.
I have at least a standard success, right, on this attack.
Oh, yes, definitely. You have a great success.
Okay, so I will burn one of my light fate to do a mighty blow
Okay.
and reduce the armor of the enemy by 2
Reduce the armor of the enemy by 2. Okay.
before resolving damage.
Okay. All right. I've got that.
Yes. I need to lower my light fate so I don't lose track of this. And now I do damage, which is this 1d6 plus 2 plus 5. Roll. Oh, yeah, great. I do 9 damage.
Okay. So that's reduced by the amount. Okay. So you strike a mighty blow into this thing, and it, sort of turns and writhes in evident pain as your spear hits it. Okay. So you do that. It will not get an attack back thanks to your great success. Okay. And that is going to lead us to... That is going to lead us now to... Regina was first. Second up was Weddle, I think.
Yeah. All right. I am doing a melee attack.
Okay.
To clarify, if I have the melee skill but no focus, do I add my...
Your aspect then. So if you have the melee skill, it would be 3d6 plus the aspect in question. And I think for you, melee would be... I think you can also do agility, although that's been recently reduced, obviously. But yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I attack with a rapier, so that is agility. Unfortunate. Roll.
So we're looking 13. That is unfortunately not going to be enough. And as you stab down the croc, so now actually I should say you're stabbing down at the same one, right? So that the one that the others attacked, yes? That Regina attacked? Okay. So you stab down at that. Now the good news is that one is not going to be able to do anything to you because it is not acted. The bad news is because you have failed, the other croc, because there's two others that are circling besides this one, it circles around and is going to leap up. I'm going to use a Dark Fate to use a special ability which the croc calls Grab and Roll. And the croc lunges at you, Weddle. You need to make an athletics defense test for me, please. This is either agility or brawn, whichever one is better for you.
Neither are good options, if I'm honest.
That's what you got. So I need you to do that. Wow. That was a good time to do that. Okay. You pull yourself away because like literally its teeth snap as you're like pulling back, or it would have dragged you under the water. Nice work. That was extremely impressive. And somewhat unexpected. I'm impressed. Also, we've just been followed by Baby Stormageddon. Can I just say that obviously, I don't know what the adult version of Stormageddon is, but we've got the baby version of it right now. Yes, so you narrowly avoid Weddle, like you see the, like coming, like you managed to dodge out of the way.
I feel like his stuck facial expression is becoming more and more apt.
Seems appropriate. It just works in any situation. Okay, so 2 of the crocs have acted. That's then going to lead us to, that was Weddle, that was that. Okay, next up is Lump. So, Lump, you were going to tell me again, you're bringing Reginald back on board first?
So still holding Reginald, lift him one hand onto the deck, set him down, look over at Weds, tap a hand on both their shoulders and go, okay, we have this. And with that, I'm going to spend one light fate to cast the anvil, or use the special ability to the anvil, which gives all of us 3 armor points until the end of combat.
3 armor points until the end of combat. All right.
Do you
Sounds
need
good.
to touch me, or am I in range because I'm also fighting the same crocs?
Within reach, so I don't know where you are.
I would assume you're in reach, Regina, unless you dodged out of the way, because you're all fighting the same
Nope.
croc. So
Oh, then you get armor points as well. You get armor points, you get some armor points.
you get some armor points.
You get some armor points. Everyone gets armor points. 3 armor points all round.
All right, so I'm not going to keep track of the extra armor points. You folks remind me of that as we're in the process of going through this. Also, as a reminder, if anyone ever rolls basically a fail on the Kismet die during this combat, and I don't remember, please note it for me. There might be a reason for that. At a later point, I'm sure it'll be fine. Okay, so Lump, you did that. You cast that, which I think is your action for the round, right? And so that leaves us finally with Reginald back on the deck, perhaps dripping a little bit from the spray. Weddle looking horrified, but then they looked horrified before he looked horrified before you jumped off.
Weddle's expression could probably be described as wooden.
Well done.
Well, I'm going to hang on. Does the ship have like a raised, what do they call it, the poop deck?
Yes, there is. Well, there is a small one. Right now, Prish is occupying most of it because he's desperately trying to like whirl the thing around and like try to turn it left and right to avoid things.
Right, probably best not to do anything that might distract him around there then. In that case, I'll head over to the rail, and we're going to see what happens when a lightning bolt hits either a crocodile or water.
I'm excited to see that. Okay, so let's see what happens when we fire off that lightning bolt.
Right, yes, so that is, hang on, because this is basically my flagship skill.
And you're firing at the same one that you just narrowly avoided being bitten by, yes?
The one that just took a spear to the side,
Right,
which I assume was the same one because that was out of the water at the time, going like...
Right. Look at all you lovely people stacking damage like pros.
So that is going to be 3d6 plus 6 plus 2 for my nature-focused spellcasting.
Okay.
Okie dokie.
All right. Go ahead with that. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just do it as is. That doesn't look good. 18.
18 is enough. That will hit.
Right. What was the damage roll for that? 1d6 plus craft, which was flipping it. Back up my sheet again. 6. Yeah. Okay. So it's 1d6 plus 6.
Also, that is a standard success, I should point out. So I need to remember now, standard success on a spell cast. I think when you have a standard success on a spell cast, it means, yes, that there is a complication. So, I am going to say that you, by doing this, you are going to hit, but you have placed yourself a little bit in danger, Reginald, because of the slickness of the deck. So what this means is that you are slipping, and the enemy will be able to attack you. Not the same one, but one of the other 2 crocs that is, running around here. So, but you're going to zap this, so we'll deal with the zap first. So go ahead and, that's the damage you did right there?
Yeah, 8 damage.
Okay.
It does not ignore armor.
It does not, okay, I was going to ask. Does not ignore armor. However, the armor has been somewhat reduced by the mighty blow of Regina. So that will really help. So you zap it, and you can see a little bit of red blood beginning to mix with the spray of the liquid. But it is quite upset, if it wasn't already upset, and its jaws, right? And the other one, meanwhile, while you sort of slip and you do this and then hold on to the railing, and the other one, I'm going to spend a second Dark Fate, and it is going to attempt to do the stop, drop, and roll. It is going to attempt to lunge at you, so I need you, please, to make an athletics defense test. Again, this is either agility or brawn.
Nope, that is just going to be... since I don't have the defense skill, just going to be a flat 3D... Wait, is defense an actual skill in itself? I forget.
No, it's not.
Is it related to having
skill.
melee?
Yeah.
It's melee.
Oh, I do have melee, thankfully. And I do have brawn. And I am going to spend a light fate to give myself an extra die.
I think that all seems reasonable. I can't resist, chat, using Dark Fate to try to get a grab and roll effect to work. I just, it's just right there waiting for me.
Okay.
Looks promising.
That's. Well, I will drop the first 2 in that case, which would make it a 14 standard if it passes.
Not going to do it. You're
Yeah.
looking for difficulty 17 is what you have to pass. So you are grabbed by the crocodile, which reaches up and pulls you overboard again. So first of all, you're going to take a little bit of damage, and then there are other problems, but we'll get to that in a minute. So as I realize, I need to pull up my dice roller. Okay. First of all, you are going to take a sub from Kilgore Trout. Thank you.
Hey.
81 months. I don't know that is possible. Thank you so much, Kilgore. Good to see you. Okay, so you are going to take 6 points of damage as this thing. So that's going to be 2 out of 2 for the Peddler's Cloak first.
Well, I do have 6 points of armor.
Oh, you have 6 points of armor? That's right. Well, then that armor is now gone. But
Thanks, Lump.
Yeah, but that was a good thing. So you are currently immobilized. Now, on each of your turns going forward, you will be able to make that test again. And I should say, actually, right now, that if you fail the test a second time, so you haven't been pulled overboard yet, actually, you are being held against the railing of the ship. So the thing just like grabbed you, pulled you back. Yeah. So if you fail the test next turn, you will be dragged overboard, and then we're going to have to talk about other effects. Although I guess you can't drown as such. But there may be other problems that happen.
It's not very clear in the lore about how that works for ghouls. So
Seems odd to me
I
that you would be able to
assume
drown, but maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
But
Well,
the
not-
crushing
they're
of
not
a rib cage you would not be
so-
able to deal with. Yeah. So either way, you are now being held against the railing by this creature. You'll be happy to know that all 3 of them have gone now, though. And Prish says, "Come on, get them off! Get them off!" And he's like frantically
Get
left,
it
right.
off! Get it off!
Okay, next round. What order would everyone like to go in?
I would very much appreciate punching this crocodile in the face that tried to bite my friend in half, because I haven't noticed what Reginald's doing at the minute behind me.
Flailing against a crocodile.
The other one is trying to pull him through a railing.
We have 1 herd crocs and another one eating our ghoul, right?
That's it. Yep.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
then a
the
third
hurt
one just
is
wandering
not-
around in the dark, in the water.
I'm just vibing. It's fine.
And you, which crocs do you want to hit, Lump? The
Me?
her- yeah. The
Yeah, the
herd
one-
crocs?
Yeah, the hurt croc. So the one that you stabbed, and Weddle had to go at.
Okay, in this case, I'll go second. Yeah, and we're gonna see, because I've got merciless, so I can potentially do more harm against a herd enemy.
So Lump 1, Regina 2,
Yes.
Weddle and Reginald. What order do you want to go in from there?
Yeah. 'Cause if I fail this test, it might be good having someone who might be able to help going after me.
Okay, I can go after you if you want to go after Lump.
That sounds good.
Okay. So then so Reginald goes 2. Is that cool with you, Weddle? So you would go last, I guess, in that scenario? Okay. So, all right. So Regina is going to be 3, and then Weddle was going to be 4. I almost put up, and where is Croc going to go? I'm like, oh, well, we'll find out where Croc's going to go, won't we? Okay. Lump, you were up first then. You have this Croc that has surged up, that almost bit your friend and has been zapped and, multiple things.
Fantastic. So 3d6. So standard melee attack 3d6 plus aspect plus focus.
Yep, seems reasonable.
That is a 22 with a double.
22 with a double will be a great success.
So there's a moment there where I was just like, I clapped both hands on both Reginald's and Wed's shoulder. Obviously Reginald's moved now, but he's like, Don't worry, we got this. And he just takes both hands and just smashes them into the Krog's face in front of him.
Yeah, your attack is a complete success. So you will inflict full damage on your target. The opponent does not get an action. So you may just, like, your fists just pound into its scales.
Excellent. So I will roll my damage. So it's going to be 1. Oh, yes, 2 weapon fighting. I forgot about that. 1d6 plus 2 for 2 weapon fighting. Because I got a great success, I'm adding my brawn as well. So it's that. 15 points of damage.
Yeah, so you literally just, and there's this horrible squishing sound, and the creature's like, and just sinks below the waves as you have killed this one for sure. Either that or you've hurt it very, very badly. You're pretty sure it's dead. And it sinks below the waves, and you're just like, I did. And then you turn to see that, like, Reginald's like, like up against the railing. Yes, you. Sorry, Crocs. You have been. The Crocs has been killed. Only one of you, though. Yeah. Okay. Good work, Lump. Next up to go is going to be Reginald.
So defense test again. I'm going to probably right assume that's all I'm going to be doing. So I will same again. I'm going to burn my other light fate because yeah.
Seems reasonable.
So 46 plus 3. Let's go. No, that's not going to do it. Even if
because you got to drop the 2, right?
Drop the 2. Yeah.
It's not enough. So what that means is, I am sorry to say, is that you are dragged overboard. So once you are dragged overboard, I was thinking about what, and you're going to take additional damage since you are still in the grip of its teeth. So let me do that grip of the teeth thing first. Let's see. So I'm thinking that what Arudinel said is probably right, which is that you can stay under, like, I don't think you necessarily have to worry about drowning, but you would, I think, be affected eventually by your flesh sort of falling off your bones, like, because you're under the water eventually. So I would say that and of course, obviously, you're not going to be much help to your friends when you were below the waves. So there's that too. So I would say that I'm going to take a look and see about the drowning rules, and I'm going to basically double the amount of time that it takes for it to affect you. And instead of it being drowning, it's flesh coming off the bone. First of all, I will mention that you are going to take an additional 4 points of damage. Now, this time, I think this does come off your peddler's cloak.
Correct, yes.
So 2, and then that means 2 go through to you, right?
Yes, I have no more armor left.
And you also are out of light fate. Other than that, everything's great. How many spell points have you used up, by the way? 1, right?
I'm on 5. Yeah, I'm on 5 out of 6.
Got it. Okay, so let me just double check and see about this. Chapter 5, Adventuring Environmental Dangers. We haven't had drowning rules yet, chat, so just give me just a second here.
Why is it always the squishy one who ends up in these situations?
I don't know. Well, listen, you're sturdy.
The fighters just get tunnel vision, and then in the background there's just me getting stabbed to death.
Ghouls don't drown, they marinate. Yeah, you're getting thrashed around by a meat tenderizer. This is all accurate. Okay. Assuming character catches their breath, they can hold their breath underwater for a number of minutes equal to their strength divided by 2. So actually, let's figure that out first, Reginald, and then we'll double it. So number of minutes equal to your strength divided by 2 rounded down.
Yeah, so about that. Now, unfortunately, I do actually have the Briar Rose, which gives me +1 fortitude while carried at the moment.
That's right.
Which, as a knock-on effect of the way the derived stats works, means I have a strength of 3 instead of 2 currently.
Okay.
It still means it's 1.
So that means 1, but then double to 2. So you can hold your breath underwater for 2 minutes. So, and then after that, you have to make a fortitude test. So 2 minutes. So, okay. So I would say that unless you get yourself free, within a series of turns, probably, I think it works out to about 5, 10 seconds. Yeah, probably in about 9 to 10 turns, you're actually going to start drowning. In the meantime, you're sort of out of the circumstances. Now, I will tell you that you do have an opportunity, although you were immobilized. I don't know whether you can actually cast spells while immobilized. Let's see. Immobility spells 1 through 4. Which means that when you are immobilized, can still take actions that do not require movement as normal, such as casting a spell, speaking, making a ranged attack, or even melee attacks.
So how would Gust of Wind work underwater?
Not
Let's
well.
find out.
Not well. That will 100% fail, unfortunately. But I'm actually wondering about speaking spells, whether you're able to do that. But I would assume you can cast spells without necessarily speaking. But yeah, we'll have to use common sense there. Gust of Wind is not going to work underwater. But if you have another one, you can try to do it. Now, you could, he said, use a lightning bolt on the creature while you're in the water with it. You could do that.
Something about the DM's tone of voice is making me mistrustful of this course of action.
I just had this image of you just like, I'm going to tase myself, bro. Like, that's,
Don't be mistrustful. Just go for it. At least it's going to be like a signal of where you are.
No, this is not like
water.
last session where you're going to convince me to lick all the wooden things.
Where you are right now, I wouldn't lick a thing. Don't open your mouth.
Lightning is always good fun unless you're on the receiving end. Yeah, well, the problem is that he's kind of on both, right? Like, he's in the receiving end. So,
I'm
yeah.
being held by the thing I want to use lightning on, and we're both in the water.
Yeah.
And you're both in a conductive liquid.
Yeah, so you tell me if there's anything you want to try to give a shot to.
Okay, so I still get me action. Try and smack it with my scythe.
I have this image of...
It's proverbially sharp.
Yeah, I mean, you could actually make a melee attack against this. Now, because you're underwater, I'm going to say this is at -2 because you are literally not able to swing very much because it's just, it's slow. So I'll say that you can make a melee attack, but it'll be at -2.
Okay, so I'll factor that in as my bonus,
you decide
which
to
would
do
be a +1 instead. Yeah, I haven't got much choice, so...
You do. You can just zap yourself. It's fine.
I could zap myself. I'm not quite at that point yet.
Okay.
Can we make this one combat where I'm not making death checks?
Just one. That's all we want. Just one.
Just one. One would be nice, yes.
All right, proceed.
So yes, +1 instead of +3. It's just going to be a bog standard one. I don't think that's going to do it.
That is not, I'm afraid, going to do it. So you try, but it's just... And meanwhile, it's like... like swinging back and forth. Yeah, basically like rolling. And so those of you looking down, probably Regina can see this. Like you can just see that, first of all, you notice Reginald has vanished. And secondly, you can see the body of the crocodile spinning over and over the waves with an occasional ghoul arm like emerging above the water and then down below. Right, next up to go is Regina.
Okay.
Seems bad.
Yeah, so I do figure out, although I'm Regina, that this is the crocodile that has Reginald.
Yes.
And
definitely.
can I score it with my spear?
I think you can because it's still rolling around fairly near the surface. Yes.
Okay.
So I think you can. I will not yet put you in the position of having to try to avoid hitting your friend. At the moment, I think you're just able, because it's so much of a bigger target, so I think you're okay to hit it.
Okay, then let's go for it. Hit a crocodile. 20.
A 20 will hit.
Wonderful. I'm not going to use any of my tactic dice in this case, and I'm going to do some damage. I just need to see. This is a crocodile that's still feeling fine, right?
That is correct. And by the way, I will note for chat, in case anyone's curious, this would typically be a standard success where your opponent would hit you for half damage, but because the crocodile is currently rolling around with Reginald in its teeth, I'm not going to have the crocodile attack Regina, so Regina can just get this attack in without being hit back.
Yeah. I'll keep my light fate in this case and not use it for another mighty blow because I want to be merciless as soon as possible.
Okay.
So I'll just do damage. Let's do a good damage roll. Come on, come on, come on. Okay, maybe I want to use my... because I do have... no, this is... no, titanium can't do this. This. No, I can't do anything right now. Well, that is a pity.
So you do hit it. I like the Crocs is spinning in chat, by the way. That's very funny. So you do manage to break through its scales barely, and you can see, but it's not nearly, bless you, the kind of mighty blow that you had before. I'm sorry. Did you say you were doing a mighty blow on this? Or no? Yeah.
I had decided I have to do.
Because merciless, you wanted to hold on.
I have to do it before resolving damage, and I had said no.
Right. Okay.
Because I can't use merciless because the Crocs is undamaged, so there is currently nothing I can do.
So you damage it a little bit. You think, and you sort of like stab in and then pull out just as a gray-skinned ghoul arm goes by, as the thing is spinning around. That spinning saber emote is really funny.
I point towards the situation and shout to the others, "This is not good!"
And Prish says, "What do you mean? What's going on?" And he's like too busy, focused on the thing. Okay, that is going to lead us to, last but certainly not least, Weddle. You got some problems down below in the water there, that you see.
Yeah, it definitely seems pretty bad for Reginald, doesn't it? Is there, sorry, a question. Is there any crew other than the captain on this boat?
But they are 100% occupied in A, fighting off the other crocodile, and B, trying to keep the sails up and moving because the ship is rocking like, mercilessly, to use Regina's term. It's rocking a lot, so the crew is probably not going to be much help. Unwin might be able to be if he could ever actually get out of the whimpering fetal position that he's in at the moment.
I don't know. I think he's better off there. Unfortunately, I'm assuming that this is outside of melee range from the side of the boat now.
Probably, unless you were to, he said laughingly, jump into the water to attack it.
No, I'm alright, thanks.
I figured, yeah.
I like Reginald's, but I don't like him that much.
Not that much.
Now, if it was Socks that was in there, that's a different story.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, the only other thing I got really to do is a lightning bolt, and I don't think that would be very good. Oh gosh, I'm not really sure. Instant reaction in my brain is to just eat Talisman coin again. I don't know. I've tried it once, might as well.
You don't have it with you though. Right now, the coin is with Reginald. Because he took it from you when you landed on the ground, prone.
Dan, he's got the coin. All right. Well, that changes things somewhat.
Or maybe the croc does. Who knows?
Feed it to the crocodile! Feed it to the crocodile!
Do you want this coin to be lost forever?
No, we're gonna have one floating crocodile. It's fine.
Weddle. I cannot understate how much this coin means to Weddle and his quest to prove that the dwarves created the talismans.
Indeed.
It is the meaning of his existence. So, he is going to jump into the water
okay.
and attempt to melee this crocodile.
Please tell me that you do this with, like, your rapier. As you, jump over the rail. So, as you vault the rail, this fixed expression, yeah! Exactly.
Doesn't so much drop as topples himself.
Oh my god. So just comes straight down. Okay. That's brilliant. I would like you please to make a melee attack, please, on this creature. And you are going on the rolling one because that's the one that has Reginald, and Reginald is the person with the coin. So I'm assuming that's what you're going for, right? Okay. Let's see. That is going to hit. And you got a light fade, I think, on that Kismet die. Yes, that is going to hit for sure. That is not a great success. It is a standard success. So your opponent's going to hit you for half damage. And that's actually going to work really well narratively. I'll explain that in a minute. First, we'll have you do your damage, though. Okay. 6 points of damage. Well, the armor has been gone through now. Okay. So, you have now hit this thing. as you strike it in your rage and your fury. This is like a line out of The Old Man and the Sea. You took all your rage and your fury also and put it into the stab. And you land on top of it. Now, the damage that I mentioned comes as the creature's tail flailing around slams into your back. Yeah. So that is going to be, let's see how much the damage would be. Okay. So you are going to take, that is going to be 4 damage that you're going to take. Now you have obviously armor though. Or do you actually have armor? You do, because you were given. No, you weren't. Were you given some armor by Lump or no?
Yep.
You were.
Yeah.
3
3.
points armor for form.
Okay, and then you didn't have any armor besides that, right? Weddle, or did you?
Or it's all just a bunch of crosses and hashes and circles, so I've got honestly no idea.
Well, so.
But we didn't get into any combat last session, did we? So I'm assuming we're fresh from traveling.
If I'm right, we haven't had any combat on this.
I don't think you've had any combat in the campaign because it was that first
campaign,
campaign was the last one, yeah. So that means that those should be all. So your armor should be at whatever it normally would be to begin, Weddle. So, and so what that would mean is I don't know how much armor do you normally have. If you can see that, like the number that it's at, if you get rid of the crosses, etc.
I think it was 3.
That sounds right. So you take 2. You take 3 from Lump's armor. That's gone. Then you do 1 cross. So you mark the 1 cross in the armor, right? And then what did I say? It was 4 total damage, right? So 3 from Lump and then 1 crossed out, which means you don't actually take any damage. You have that remaining armor left. I think you've got like 2 armor points left. So you have not taken any damage. That's the good news. The not as good news is that you now need to make an agility check for me, please, to avoid toppling over into the water. You have landed on top of the thing, but now you're like, as the thing is rolling around. So unless, I should say, if you want to, you could just fall into the water. So if you want to, you don't have to try to stay on top of it.
Wait, you're giving them the opportunity to do an agility check to stand on top of the crocodile.
You're basically log rolling. Yes, except you're alligator. You're alligator rolling.
I choose to attempt this thing.
I had a feeling you might. Okay, so So the question is, we're going to make an agility check. I don't know about a focal point in this. So this would be what you're actually looking for. What I'm looking for here is athletics. So if you have athletics and if you have a focus in acrobatics, do you? By chance? No athletics, no acrobatics? So then it's just agility is what you're doing.
So that's a 3d6 plus my agility. But no, not plus anything. 'cause
It's
I
just
haven't got
3d6.
the-
Yeah.
Awesome. Here we go.
Drum roll, please. 6, 6, and 6.
Hey.
13 is not enough, I'm afraid. You for a moment, there is a moment where you're doing this like, I can do, and then you fall over back into the water. And now you are splashing around in the water. Now, that would be fine were it not for the fact that there is one other crocodile which has not yet operated. And the other crocodile, the second, there's 3, one of them is dead. There are 2 left. One of them has your friend, Reginald. And the other one comes over to you. I'm going to use a third dark fate, sorry. I don't have light fate, you do. I'm going to have a third dark fate, and the other one is going to attempt to grab and roll you, Weddle. So you're going to need to make an athletics defense test, which will be either agility or brawn. Probably agility for you. Well, I don't know, with a -2. Maybe agility would be better for you. I don't know.
I'd like to use my special ability, Subtle, please. When an enemy forces you to roll a defense test,
Okay.
if it is within range to attack a character or another one of your allies, you can spend light fate and make a deception test.
Okay.
The difficulty is equal to its threat. If you roll a standard success or better, it targets a character or ally the attacker is hostile towards instead of you.
Okay, so that's fine. Be aware what that means is that they will probably target Reginald. I'm totally fine with that, but I'm just letting you know that may be the case. But if you're cool with that, then that's fine.
Yes, the coin that I'm after, not the Reginald. No, I figure if we get him in some sort of ghoul sandwich and just have it all as one rotating maps, it'll be easier for us, like in the long run, to hit.
Like one rotates him horizontally, one rotates him vertically, like this way. Oh my goodness. Okay, well then, you will go ahead and make your deception test then, please.
I think that's known as a blender.
Excellent.
Reginald will remember this.
Yeah, no, seriously.
Everyone disliked this.
And the deception. Now you do have a focus in this, right? In this, I believe, Weddle, the deception or not? I know you have the skill of deception. I'm guessing.
Oh no, actually, no, I don't. So it'll just be a 3d6.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why I take subtle and not deception. That seems like a. I think I must have taken deception when I first rolled the character and then changed it out for something before we started the campaign.
Could be.
Well,
it is not deceived. It is not deceived. So that means it is instead you will now get a chance to make your athletics defense test, which means just 3d6 because I think we said you don't have an athletics skill. Yeah. So you are dragged. You're actually dragged towards the water. So let's see. You are immobilized. So it's the same thing. I'm going to explain what happens. Actually, the way you described it is more or less, I think, what's going to happen here. First of all, you were... Okay, you're going to take... There's 8 points of damage there, but you have your remaining armor points. I think you had 2 armor points remaining, we said, of your own armor. So you're just going to put slashes in those last 2 boxes, Weddle, and then the remaining 6 is going to come off your life. And so that puts us at 24 out of 30. Now, what this does is basically it grabs you and you are slammed onto the... So, like, basically onto the body of this other crocodile. So for a moment, exactly what you imagined is the case. You have created an alligator king, like just alligator on top of alligator with Reginald in the middle there. Yeah, it is very much a ghoul sandwich. And so if next turn you don't escape, then you will also be dragged underwater in your own separate alligator roll or crocodile roll. But at the moment, crocodile rock, if you will. But at the moment, at the beginning of the next turn, 2 of you are now off dealing with crocodiles, and the other 2 are actually on board. So, which order would all of you like to go in?
I'm going to look over at Regina and just go, Bob? Drink? It was nice knowing him.
So Regina stares down at the... So we have like a crocs, a ghoul, a crocs, a dwarf, like a stack.
That's basically it at the moment, yes.
And it's all spinning.
Well, yes, although one of the crocodiles that has Weddle is not yet is starting to spin, but has not yet pulled Weddle into the water yet. Weddle's just down prone on the spinning crocodile. Actually, it probably doesn't feel great, Weddle, on your back. Like the scales underneath you are like... Tuk, 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 tuk. Maybe it's a massage chair. It's a massage croc.
Can I even attack that?
Oh, I mean, it's a very attackable target.
Environment down there.
Yeah, and they are large enough that I do think you can probably get attacks in on the one holding Reginald. Once this other one gets spinning, then it is going to be more or less a blender, and then we'll have to talk about it. But I think at the moment you could still get a shot in at the one that has Reginald. Or I guess the one that has Weddle if you want.
Lump, Can you
So
pull
I was-
crocs? Can you pull a crocs on board?
Can I reach the croc from the side of the ship? Because I'll be honest, I have a dumb idea.
You're going to have to make a test to do this, to sort of lean way over without tipping. I think if you do that, you might be able to grab one of the crocodiles. Although I don't know what you're going to do with it once you grab it, but
That sounds very
It
tactician.
sounds like most plans to grab a croc. You don't know what you're going to do when you grab it.
yeah, what do you do when you have it? Exactly.
So how far away is the railing from the ocean, from the river?
It is varying. Sometimes it's anywhere from like 15 to like 5 feet because it's rocking way above and down, and so
Well, not like cruise liner, sort of like it's a
no. It's a smaller ship than that. It's a fairly small ship. It's not a rowboat. I mean, it's bigger than that, but it's like a sloop as opposed to a yacht or something like that.
So I'm going to give you an insight, Regina, into what Lump's plan is going to be. He's going to notice that 2 of his companions have now gone off the edge of the boat. He's going to run to the edge of the boat, jump on the railing, and dive off of the boat with both fists facing towards the water, essentially turning himself into a torpedo. Which now I've said that out loud sounds really bad.
So you want to?
Let's rank on that.
Troll
Troll torpedo. Troll torpedo. There you go.
Torpetrol.
Torpedo. That's far better. There we go.
Troll what?
Okay,
What is
in
it?
that ca-
Troll
Torpetrol.
troll petrol?
It's less problematic to say it that way.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Yes. Yeah, so
Yeah,
Don't.
probably not going to get me cancelled.
I just saw the spelling. I'm like, oh,
Don't.
this is what we were talking about. Torpetrol. Better.
Torpedo.
Okay, you talk amongst yourselves. I just have to take this quick phone call and try not to laugh as I'm taking it. I'm right back in a second.
Yeah, I can see that was definitely one of those, like, in your head it sounded amazing, and as soon as the word left your mouth, it's like, oh no.
Oh, well, that's my career over.
I don't think I want to hear about this again.
I just want to say, as a human being, leave Huedel. He's done this to himself. Just leave him to drown.
You know, but if we would just leave characters for doing stupid things, I would have to change characters far before you. I mean, I more or less tried to blackmail it. I more or less tried to blackmail a tree and got nearly killed in the process. So
That's a good point. I remember that.
yes, I kidnapped an acorn to blackmail the tree because I had one of his children.
I still have that acorn.
You do still have
So-
that acorn. Sorry, I'll buy you a new keyboard right now.
But if you're gonna be a torpedo, I think I would like to go first because in a moment there's not gonna be space for me to attack anything.
That's fair.
Okay.
It's turning into one of those cartoon clouds of brawl with just like everyone like a bit of croc and a bit of a spinning ghoul and then troll fist emerges.
Bit of foam, croc teeth.
Okay. I don't think Arf would. Oh, there he is.
Oh, he's not. Is he? No?
Yep, that's Arf. I've seen him before. It's the same
It's
one.
me. Okay, so we have a little bit of a problem, chat. I have a call that I must take, that I need to take for like hopefully only 5 minutes or less. I hate to do this, but it means that I've got to have us go on break for a minute. I know that's the last thing anyone wants to do, but it's either that or we stop the stream now because I have to take this call. So
We can talk about amusing things, or I could just attack the croc. I know that is 17 hits, so I can process all of that if you don't have anything.
it's up to you. I mean, if you want to be doing that, but I unfortunately there's not
Yeah,
much I can
you
do
can-
about it.
You go the call, I attack the crocs, and then we try to be entertaining,
Okay.
like streamers.
Sounds good. All right, I will leave you on then talking to the fine people. My apologies, everyone. I will be back as soon as I can.
Although I was not informed we were expected to be entertaining tonight.
No.
Yeah, well, I was not informed there would be crocs. It's always a.
Outside of my wheelhouse.
Okay, in
Anyone
this
who
case,
watched my stream knows that.
okay, I'll still like attack the crocs. Then
Poor crocs.
poor crocs. I hope
He's
it's going
sitting
to
in
be
chat,
poor
just
crocs.
like everything feels so hostile to him right now.
17. Excellent.
And it's a doubles.
Yep.
And it's a double.
So I don't. So that's wonderful. I'm gonna take the hurt crocs, and I think I'll try to be.
Oh,
Yeah,
wait,
just in ca-
is one of them hurt?
Sorry? Yeah,
Is-
one of them is hurt because
Yeah,
Reginald
Regina
hit it.
hit.
I got a hit. I got a hit in last turn.
You got a hit, and I didn't get a hit on it. I got hit
Yeah,
by it.
but I did.
Yes.
And I got a hit on it before as well.
That's
No.
very true.
Okay. No. Okay, I can roll damage first and then decide whether I can use Merciless or not. So that's really nice.
Okay.
That's a cool thing. Using
I
all the
didn't get
features
a hit
tonight.
on it. Yeah, I did.
I want a crocodile sandwich. Make it snappy.
Oh, I mean, seriously, this is
Wow,
the
you have a
third
lot of
one that
fun.
I've rolled for damage. I can spend a light
It's
fate
Talisman.
and change the 1 for a 2, but I'm not sure if that's worth spending a light fate on.
It might be. Depends if it has 10 hit points left.
Still, I still think by far the biggest unlucky streak I've seen was the last board game session we played where Tuluian got turned into a toad. How many times?
I didn't know,
Oh.
but he deserved it.
At
I
least
wasn't
two.
even there. I still know it.
It was like 4 or 5 times. It was getting ridiculous.
That was definitely true. I sent you guys a photo. This is behind the scenes now. I sent the stream team a photo of the Talisman board game that me and my wife had played. That took 3 days to complete, by the way, because it did. I had it must have been about 20 to 25 gold pieces, and I was going to send you a photo that basically was just I was playing the prophetess. So basically, I was just going to say can't spell prophetess without profit, and literally as I was going to take that photo, I got turned into a toad. Everything.
Yep,
I'm a
that
massive
sounds
dog.
right.
Yeah.
What was the one? I think the biggest screw you the game did to Tal that session was when he got turned into a toad in the woodlands. Then he got hit by that card that turned him into a random class for a certain amount of turns. And then when that wore off, he turned back into a toad for another 2 turns because it hadn't worn off.
Yeah, he became a toad and then became a philosopher for 3 turns and then turned back into a toad.
He was a
Just like-
Velocitoad.
Philosopher toad. Yeah. That's amazing.
All this and more can happen if you play the digital version of the board game available on GOG.com.
I can totally recommend it. Even my son really likes it, and we gifted this one of his friends to his birthday, and now we have like this 2 10-year-old who play Digital Talisman. And it's
Excellent.
wonderful because they do trash talk the whole time, and they're not really good at it. And it's just like the best thing ever.
Toad's origin story. It's just a philosopher that just took a wrong turn in the woods.
It is great. Talisman is one of my favorite games to do multiplayer sessions of on my channel. It's just utter chaos, and so many different expansions you can just mix and match for varying effects of chaos.
About the expansions, we figured out. So I bought when we were on holiday, going to visit some family in the UK, and I found probably the last board game shop that actually had Talisman in stock. So I bought it and like 4 expansions. And I didn't realize that our dining table isn't big enough for the board game plus expansion. So we have the choice of board game and 2 expansions or board game. Like that's it. We can't have all 4. We can't expand all 4 corners. Because for those of you who don't know, the board game, basically the expansions just kind of slot onto the corners of the board game, which I think is a brilliant idea. Absolutely fantastic idea. But yeah, we realized that our dining table, which is always feels massive, right? It's not nearly big enough. Like everything, it's not just it would be hanging over the edge. It doesn't fit in the slightest. So we're just like, okay, we'd have to play on the floor. Which is a bigger table. That is true. We could just get a bigger table, but I think I really like that table. Like, it was one of the first things we bought when we bought a house, and I'm just like, this is our first piece of grown-up furniture.
We also had what was it? It wasn't the Carpet Wars. Pirate will be glad to know, but it was like a mini reenactment of it. Because I had the Alchemist, which likes to spend a lot of time in the city breaking the game economy. So I got a flail. Car magically stole that flail. Fast forward about 4 hours when I got a spell that let me steal it back. I'd have bought a second flail at this point and turned the other one back into gold. That was satisfying.
Yeah. You just
I
like,
think
well,
Mike had
I
been in
can't.
the Highlands for about 3 hours at this point.
I just had a look at the Pegasus shop, and I just see there's a Talisman Adventures RPG book now that I have not hadn't seen before, which just came out this summer.
How exciting.
Ooh, okay, what do we got? Oh, new ancestries, Minotaur and Vampire. 2 new classes, Necromancer and Tomb Robber.
Yes,
Oh my word.
We're 100% going to get this.
I think I've got a Christmas gift.
Oh, that's brilliant. I like the sound of this. I mean, Vampire Necromancer is just an obvious choice immediately. Ghoul Tomb Robber, that works. Very fitting for the ghoul background as well.
Yeah, so you're robbing from the inside.
I work in mortal middle management. I don't know what's.
That gives some very interesting class ideas. Gonna kill off my ghoul and go Tomb Robber. Not gonna kill off Reginald after all we've been through.
But if you're a ghoul, like waking up in your grave, and you're like, okay, if I have to get out of here, I just take all the useful stuff with me.
Yeah. He could retire like Ashflower did.
Yeah, that is true.
Who definitely didn't just die on the way back to the Great Forest. Didn't like, my home planet needs me.
So I guess to tie this into the board game, this would probably be alongside something like the dungeon expansion, which is one of the only areas not really represented on the map here. Although it could potentially... Yeah, it confuses me because everything's represented, but it's all shuffled, so that nothing's the equivalent to where it really should be. For example, you see like where Villadoc and the Tavern are. They're usually on the opposite side of the board from the Highlands. So that always throws me a little bit.
I do wonder if the Talisman board game would be a good Christmas present for my then 11-year-old. Because he really likes board games, and we still like limit his screen time, so he...
And yes.
Okay.
I think so. If the 10/11-year-old already likes board games, I think this would be a fine gift. Because it feels like the base game feels simple enough that you can get your head around the rules. Once you start playing, you can get your head around the rules.
Like I said, he plays the digital one, has played the digital one a lot, so he knows what's up.
It's a different feeling when you play the physical board game as well. It feels really good. Like I took the knowledge I took from the digital board game, and I was just like, I kind of know what's going on, but also I kind of don't, which is quite nice.
Well, we also transferred him from Blood Bowl on PC to Blood Bowl on board game, so I'm hopeful.
Nice.
So he's also used to long gaming sessions. That's also good.
Yeah, very good.
Blood Bowl's one of the shorter games. Oh, sorry, Bruce.
Blood Bowl?
The nice thing with digital editions of things, though, is that you don't have to set up the board.
I never realized how small the cards were for Talisman. The cards are tiny.
I've only seen pictures.
I have massive hands. I was just shuffle these cards, and I'm like, I've never felt more like a giant in my life. Usually shuffling normal cards, I feel like a giant anyway. But these, I was just like, these are like tiny. These are just cards made for ants. These are ridiculous.
That's what Lump feels like when he's playing in a tavern, you know. He's playing dice games and like, oh.
We should make a poker game with Lump, like him, like holding two.
Lump card read card.
House full.
Yeah, the ultimate poker face because he just doesn't know what he's got at any point.
Not nearly as much of a wooden expression as Wes right now.
I can't believe Gweddle touched the coin.
No, me neither.
I completely forgot, and he even like specified, like, oh, how are you done? I was like, I'm going to give a math on everything. Of all the things to forget about this coin, like
untouched, super cursed. It fits with your obsession, though. You disregard the Quedel disregards the warnings about. It's like, no, I must know all the things.
Yep.
At least now we're going to have information about how quickly people turn into wooden dolls.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Science.
This is valuable information, and you know, I think there's worse things in the campaign than to just like be put in Lump's bag with the rest of the wooden dolls and transported to the temple, you know? Like, otherwise, I'd have had to have walked.
I do wonder if you have already shrunk a few centimeters.
Also that, yeah, also that.
Yeah.
Hard to tell with the dwarf.
Yeah, you can't really tactfully ask to measure a dwarf.
I can.
It depends.
That's fair.
I
That's
suppose,
fair.
yeah. Yeah, I suppose. Although everyone's small compared to Lump, he's ginormous. So.
So, I also got 10-year-old into playing Magic the Gathering because I'm a bad mom.
You're not a bad mom.
So we need more cards because that's how that works.
Yeah.
And but some of you might, I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh, and I was a Yu-Gi-Oh judge back then on tournaments and stuff.
Good as well.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I never knew that. That's amazing.
And so I still have some old Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I was like, I'm not gonna get him into Yu-Gi-Oh. I'm just gonna get him into Magic. And so I find out that I have, for example, this, which is a Dark Magician Girl from the Magician's Force edition. And by now, this is worth money. So people, if you still have old Yu-Gi-Oh cards lying around, they might be worth money. It's amazing.
He even kept in the sleeves and everything.
Yes. This one was even like in a small box the whole time. So, if you still have your Yu-Gi-Oh cards, please check if they're worth something, because they might be worth something. Even Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I mean, seriously.
I went through a bunch of my old Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh cards and did that. And there's like, you know, it's like, I got a few that are worth like between £2 and £5 each, but at that point, like, the effort to like put them up and whatever didn't seem worth it. And there's some, you know, if you want to sell them for a really good price, you need to send them away to get them graded. But because of lockdowns and stuff, there's massive backlog with all of the grading companies, so you can't actually get anything graded right now anyway. So that's what I found out. But on Magic the Gathering, I do have some like more recent, you know, within the last 10 years cards that part of my old poison decks that turned out to be worth money now. I was like, my what was it, Skithrix Blight Dragons, like £7 each. I got a couple of copies of them. It's not like loads of money, but you know, you're just like, oh, quite chuffed. That pays for like a booster pack. Do you do any of the secret lair drops? You know, they do the really cool you know, cards with edgy new art on them and stuff, like new school tattoo style art of old cards. And no.
Nope, I don't have. I do have the old cards.
Do you have like loads of really like the old school, you know, white border cards?
Yes. I even found 2 beta lands. But they are like broken, because that was back then when you played without sleeves.
Curses.
One of the first things I did when I started getting cards for D&D campaigns is I got sleeves for all of them, and then realized that the card holder that I bought for them didn't accept sleeves. So then I'm now stuck with, I can either have the cards in a card holder or the cards loose in sleeves. I can't have both until I buy something new.
I had something similar with a phone, where I had a phone case, but the charging cable going into it couldn't reach in all the way when the case was on, because it was not the standard case for that phone. And so I'd take the case off every time I needed to charge it and then put the case back on.
Have the butt of your phone sticking out of the case.
Stick it out of the case, yeah.
I do that.
And-
Mine currently has done that with the screen protector. So I've got the rubber kind of sheath that goes around the edge of the phone to protect the corners. Put a screen protector on it earlier today. Just a normal new screen protector, just off-brand one. Then put the protector back on it, and then it popped the edges of the screen protector off. So I'm just like, oh Jesus, how first world problems I know, but how on earth am I going to sort this out? So I then had to sort of like press it down underneath the screen protector, underneath the case, and just pray I never need to take it off.
Sorry, I just am distracted now, feeling really sad for Rudenel. He got sleeves for all the GPK stickers and got wet, and this has. I'm so sorry.
Oh,
Sad.
no, I'm so sorry.
I don't have anything rare like in my gaming collection. I think it's when we moved, I had to leave a lot of my stuff sort of behind. And I think recently I've started to like retro games from like the eras that really meant something to me, like the PC games, the big box PC games. I've got there actually underneath my Mimic. Those are like I've got Icewind Dale, Baldur's Gate 2, that sort of thing, and those are the ones that I played way back in the day, and they really meant something to me. And I've got the big sort of collection of old PS1, PS2, and cartridge-based games that really mean something to me. But I just kind of wish I never really had a chance to sort of get my old collection of stuff from when I was a child. Oh, I say child, when I was younger. But yeah, it's nice now. Now I have grown-up money. I can spend it on things I used to own.
Oh! Have you all seen that there's going to be a remaster of Suikoden?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my god, I'm excited for that.
But it's going to come out next year. I mean, this
That's
would
fine,
have
I'll
been like the ideal Christmas present. I'm like, why are they not doing this? Why are they announcing it now? And then they're going to do it next year.
Such a good game. First game to actually make me cry. Suikoden, the original Suikoden.
I only played Suikoden 2. I never played the first one.
Yeah,
But it was such an amazing journey and such a great story.
Yep. Absolutely solid game. Such a good game. It's the first game whenever I emulate PS1 stuff. It's the first game I start playing whenever I emulate PS1 stuff is Suikoden. Just that intro, the old Konami intro and the Suikoden. Wow, chef's kiss. Absolutely fantastic. And then what was one of the things, because I used to own it on PS1, was one of the things I wanted to buy recently, and it's ridiculously expensive on eBay. Like, you're talking hundreds of pounds for like broken case, scratched disc, no manual. I'm like,
I know.
absolutely not.
I know, because I used to have it, and then I separated from my boyfriend at that time, and it was our joint game, and so we sold it, and it sold back then for about 120 euros. And I was like, wow, that's a lot of money.
Yeah. Oh wow, I'm glad we sold it now. Really caught the train on that one, didn't we? Yeah. Damn it.
So you can get my first PlayStation 1 game on secondhand on eBay for only $27.85. And that is Beyblade, Let It Rip.
Beyblade!
We used to go to the Sunday market, and there was a second-hand computer games stall there, and they had this little section at the end of PlayStation 1 games that you could get for £1. And I grew up chronically behind on games consoles and systems and things. We got them sort of second-hand when our neighbours were replacing theirs. So we got our first PlayStation 1 when everyone else got their PlayStation 2s, which meant that all of the PlayStation 1 games were really, really cheap. So I got a copy of Beyblade, Let It Rip for just £1.
Yeah, that's excellent stuff.
My parents were opposed to gaming consoles because you don't learn anything from that, so that was not allowed in our household. So when
Rots
I
your
moved out,
brain.
so when I moved out, I bought a PlayStation 1, and I think the first game I had was Final Fantasy VIII. I think that's the first
choice.
game I played on.
It's a very good choice.
So that's also was also my introduction to Final Fantasy series, and I think the first Final Fantasy game somehow imprints on you. shapes your view of the whole series.
Yeah, absolutely. Mine was 7, so that's always held a big place in my heart. I think that was a lot of people's first sort of journey into Final Fantasies.
Mine was Mystic Quest on the SNES. AKA the one specifically dumbed down for the West. Make of that what you will.
Yeah.
Full confession, I am yet to play a Final Fantasy game.
Okay, so we won't hold that against you, but when you do get, grown up internet, you have to play through all of the Final Fantasies on stream, so that we
Back
can
to back.
or do some sort of reaction, so that you're playing them for the first time. We can see your proper reaction to some of the stories, some of the characters, that sort of thing. Just please do that, at least with a few of them. At least if you're not going to do all of them, like 7, 8, 9, and 10 are probably what I'd consider to be the biggest ones, where you sort of, if you've never played them, those are the ones everyone always says go to those ones, 7 to 10.
I
hear the
promise
6
to
fans
do
getting
it.
angry.
I'm a fan of 4, 5, and 6. To be
I
honest.
didn't like 7.
So,
I think 6 is better than a lot of the others. Sorry, Alf.
that's okay. Okay, so chat knows what's going on. We we live in a historic home. We're trying to put solar panels on the home. The historic commission meets like once every 5th lunar moon or something. And so this is the only time they can do it. And I was not supposed to be doing this meeting because I'm streaming. And the people that are supposed to be here, none of them can get into the meeting apparently besides me. So I just sat for about 10 minutes listening to an incredibly fascinating conversation. Just wanted to make sure I was doubly muted on the laptop. I was just like, that's going to be the greatest thing ever. So, okay, good. This fascinating conversation about easement windows and all this stuff from the previous applicant. I'm like, what the fuck? Could you please just so that I could tell them to call somebody else. So what I have to do, and I don't want to do this, is I have to have one ear opening, listening for whenever these people are done talking, and then come to me, at which point, hopefully the people that were supposed to have done this meeting are going to be there. I'm a little frustrated. I'm a little upset. I'm just a little annoyed. So I apologize profusely to all of you. None of this was supposed to have happened. I'm sorry. So we have 2 options, which is either we call stream now, and I apologize 10 more times, or we keep going, but at any second, I'm going to have to be like, go back to this thing. I'm
Let's
really
call
sorry.
in this case, because we know that Mike has to get up early.
Yeah.
And also your real life always comes first.
Yes.
And so I would say we call here.
So frustrating. I'm really sorry. This was not what was supposed to happen. There are going to be discussions that will be had, and they won't be pleasant ones. Anyway, my apologies. I'm really sorry. No, I would never do that. I would never take anger out of my players. Although I have an image of wanting to go get some Crocs and maybe take them out on certain other things. Anyway, I guess it's an okay stopping point. We're in the middle of the fight. I'm really sorry, players. Let's do our outros
yes,
quickly.
I hit the Crocs with a great success and 9 points of damage.
Actually, is that actually true?
Yes,
Yes,
you
the
can see the
rolls
chat. You can see the dialogue.
It was a
Oh,
it was a 414 for 17, which would have been a hit, and then 1.
and it was the
8.
one. It was the one that was already damaged. The one that was
Yes.
down to. Oh, okay. Well, then you'll be happy to know that that one actually sinks below the waves as well. So, and it also releases, I'm tempted to say in the rigor mortis of death, it clamps down even harder. No, I would say that it releases its grip. So that means that now you only have one spinning crocodile with Weddle on it, and the other one is Reginald, who's up at the surface kind of floating. So when we pick up in the next one, did everyone get a chance to go in this round, or was it just
me.
It was just you. Okay.
No, weren't you last?
Yes.
No, I was.
No, it was
I
only.
was new round, and I was first.
Yeah,
Oh,
new
okay.
round first, and I was going to do something dumb, but I think this is a great
Right,
start.
that's right. Yeah.
Yes, we're waiting for the Torpetrol.
Yeah, the Torpetrol. Okay. All right. So I have. I'm thinking of calling an audible here. Would people be available in the player group to do next Tuesday to continue this? Would you be available to do this next Tuesday or not? I know that's tough for you, Pyron.
Don't we have
We have.
You do have Salt Marsh. I'm going to see whether Ananda can maybe push to another day later.
See?
Well, that doesn't make any difference to me then, right?
I guess it wouldn't. No, I guess it wouldn't. Bruce, are you able to do that though?
There you go.
Are you able to?
Yes, I don't have a social life, so yeah.
Well, you have 2 dogs to deal with. Okay. Oh my God. So annoying. All right. I'm going to reschedule then. I'm going to put this reschedule Salt Marsh. Okay. All right. If Ananda can't, then I may have to say that we'll just have to hold this to next month. But I feel like we didn't get as far as I expected because the croc fight, which has been a really fun fight, but it was just like different. So
we'll find a time.
Okay, so yeah, we'll find the time to do it. And I assume chat is going to want to hear more. That way the cliffhanger doesn't last actually quite as long as might have been the case otherwise. Okay, so in that case, then that's what we will do, chat. So we will continue Talisman Adventures, and we'll continue this next week. So I will let the players do their outros again. I'm so sorry. Let me start with Bruce at the bottom. Good stuff today, Bruce. I'm not going to do a long outro because I need to get back to hear more fascinating ideas about window treatments. How'd you feel about today's session? Where will the fine folks find you next?
Mostly, I'm just really sorry about today's session.
So
Ian a coin, jumping into the water, not Hweddle's best moments, and I'm blaming it entirely on Hweddle. He did those things without my consent. It wasn't me, it was him. And you will find me next week for more Talisman Adventures.
Good stuff. Thank you, Bruce. Moving right up on the line. Mike, same question to you. How'd you feel about today? Where will the fine folks find you next?
I loved it. I always love it. And I'm very much looking forward to next week's session. In the meantime, you can probably find me on my own channel at some point. I'm not sure when, though. So I have a schedule at Peripheral Mike. So make sure to check that out.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Mike. Saber, good stuff as well today. Also, since you spent much of it being rolled over and over by a crocodile, I'm not sure if you've ever spent a full session being repeatedly rolled. You've been, let's say, croc rolled. Never going to give you up. Never going to let you down. How did you feel about today's session? Where the fine folks find you next?
Once again, seem to be finding myself in the most peril of the group. No matter how carefully I try to play it, it just seems to happen with Reginald. But at least I'm not being spun around right round baby like a record anymore. And well, I'll be back tomorrow. I haven't picked a game yet, but I'll be here on GOG, and I'll be back on my channel on Thursday. We're going to be picking up the excavation of Hobbs Barrow because I really want to see some more of that game.
Awesome. Good stuff. Thank you, Saber. And last but certainly not least, Pyron Jade, some serious mighty blows from Regina doing some serious work to those crocodiles. It helps to have a sprite that to have a helicopter like flying above the water basically instead of being underneath it. How'd you feel about today? Where will the fine folks find you next?
I love today. I'm going to love the next session as well. And I have 2 things that I absolutely want to announce, which is on Friday we're going to have a special interview streams with the people from Owlcat Games about Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous, which is such a difficult title to pronounce, where we're going to have 2 interview partners and we're going to show gameplay. And on Monday we're going to have a very, very special guest stream by Conversations with Curtis, the YouTube channel, with Curtis Craig from Phantasmagoria 2. And it's going to be absolutely amazing. So please have a look at our public schedule for Friday and Monday for our very special streams. It was wonderful. See you.
Good stuff. Thank you very much, all the players. Again, my sincere apologies. This won't happen again. I will see you back here next week for more Talisman Adventures. Yeah. Oh, my God. What a day. Anyway, thank you so much, players. Check we get some love for Pyron J, Darksaber 2K, Peripheral Mike, and Undeveloped Bruce. We will see you folks next week. Thank you, players.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, that's going to do it for me too, chat. I got to rise up on out of here. I have got to hurry up out, and really sorry again that this went down this way. This was all complete, not what was supposed to happen, but sometimes life happens. Please follow the channel. Please check out GOGcom's Twitch channel, of course, and please subscribe to us here and subscribe to us individually as well. And that's going to do it for me. Until next time, thank you to my players. I'll be back on my own channel on Friday later on this week. But otherwise, I hope everyone has a good night, and I will see you folks soon. Sorry again. Bye for now.